Thanks for listening to the Tech Tools for Teachers podcast, where each week we talk about a free piece or two of technology that you can use in your classroom. I'm your host, Shanna Martin. I'm a middle school teacher, technology coach, and personalized learning coordinator for my district.
And I'm 50.
You're not 50.
I'm not 50.
I'm not 50. But
you're not 50.
It's the 50th episode.
This is the 50th episode. I'm Fuzz, her husband.
You are.
I produce the show. I type the things into the internet.
And push buttons.
I push buttons. Pretty much do all the technical-y stuff, but Shannon knows the techie stuff.
Yeah. And it's the 50th episode.
It is. So how are we going to celebrate 50 episodes of the Tech Tools for Teachers podcast?
Well, I figured instead of trying to do... I couldn't decide. I wanted to do 50 of something.
Yeah.
I felt like...
That's a lot of things.
It's a lot of things. And we usually try to keep the show about a reasonable amount of time. So I wasn't going to make a 50-minute episode. And so I thought, well, maybe I could put together 50 tech tools and tips.
Okay.
So what I did was I took kind of like the most popular or the most used or everybody's favorites, and I put together a list of 50 tech tools and tips. So some of them are websites, a few of them are like apps or extensions, some of them are like tips for using googly things,
right?
And some of them are, a couple of them are new. So it's like a little bit of everything all rolled into 50 tech tools and tips in 25 minutes. So we're gonna
Godspeed.
So we're gonna move really quick today. So a lot of it is kind of referencing things from previous episodes.
Right.
So if I shout out like floor planner, which I'm going to probably say 12 times, floor planner's probably been mentioned in like 3 episodes. So I think in our little, if you check out the website, then you'll kind of have better idea what's linked to previous podcasts that we've done. And it was fun putting together this list because I have favorite things that I use all the time. And then I asked staff and I was like, hey, what do you guys think? And I even asked a few of my students, like, what do you guys like to use? So I made 50 tech tools and tips for the 50th episode.
Excellent.
And we are gonna just roll on through.
Let's do it.
Ready?
Yep.
So tech tool tip 1. Actually, I didn't make a big mistake, but last week when we did our gym episode, I had this big idea I wanted to share. And then I realized after we were done with the episode that I never shared my idea.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So we're starting with that one. Because when I was teaching gym class last week, I was like, oh my gosh, you could use Screencastify in gym class. So the first one is like a tool and a tip because it's Screencastify. But you could have students, you could use anything. You could use Screencast, you could use Flipgrid, you could use Loom. But have students either videotape one move each kid. So like each kid would do jumping jacks or push-ups or like run a lap or do a burpee or do a rock climb or something. And then if you put you could string together the kids' videos individually to run the workout for the day. So if you videotaped the kids once, you could then project it because some gyms have like projectors still in them.
Yep.
So then you could project the workout of the day and the kids would actually be the ones leading class.
Sure.
Which I thought was cool. Or in groups, they could make a group workout, do a video with it, and then project it, and then groups could lead class. Anyway.
Yeah.
So that was like my gym class thought that I never shared last week. But that uses Screencastify, which is my thought and tool 1.
Yep.
And
episode 5.
Wow, you're on it. Okay. Good job. Gym class tip was my other thought. So that was like tech tool tip 2. You can totally use tech in gym class using videos. Loom.
Kind of tech, kind of episode 49. Yep.
Loom, which is the video, is a way to videotape your screencast, just like Screencastify. We talked about that recently, and a lot of teachers that I've introduced it to are like, oh my gosh, I love it because it's unlimited because teachers like to talk.
They really do. And they can have 25 free videos.
Yeah, boom, half of 50.
And good call. And episode 48.
There you go.
2 less than 50.
And Flipgrid, which there's so many amazing different things. So Flipgrid, you can create videos, student create videos. You can do, book talks, and you can do like student-led conferences, and you can have like students explain math problems to each other and have them give feedback to one another and do e-learning days.
So they just create video responses.
Yes. Yeah, and you can pose questions online, and then they can respond to each other, respond to you.
Yeah. Episode 22.
Boom. Look at you. And so we are at, those are the first 5 tips.
Okay. Are they?
Oh, and self-paced lessons. But that goes along with my gym class thing. So if you're using Screencastify or Loom and you're videotaping them, you can use that students can self-pace. If they're at a video and they're listening to you, they can watch you as many times as they need to get the content that they need to.
Sure.
And
so,
self-paced lessons.
First was Screencastify, and then gym class tips, which were the self-paced tips for them. Mm-hmm. Then teacher self-paced lessons. Yep. Then Loom, and then Flipgrid.
Boom.
Now we go on to
websites.
Which
is funny. It's not really,
it's like designing. Web building. Yeah. Web design, web building.
Yeah. Web design. They're websites for web design.
And we kick it off with Wix, episode 15.
Look at you. So Wix is one of my favorites.
I feel a lot smarter with my glasses on.
I feel like you think that you feel a lot smarter with your glasses on. Your readers.
My cheaters.
Your cheater readers. So Wix, you can design your own sites.
41, everybody. No, that's my age, not the episode we're talking about. Nice.
Wix, you can design your own websites. They have beautifully created templates that you can just drop your information into. It makes it very easy for kids. Google Sites also. I feel like Google Sites, that's our tip number 7.
9.
I'm going out of order, kind of.
Yeah, that's not helping.
I'm within the same.
my knowledge of which one we're
on. Wix and Google Sites. Weebly and Wakelet. There you go. I threw them all out there. Now we can go back and talk about them.
I don't think we did an episode on Google Sites. We
haven't. No. Mm-hmm.
But everybody knows about it.
Right. I don't do a lot of Google things because there's a lot of people that do a lot of Google things. And
episode 50.
There you go. Episode 50, Google Sites. I feel like Google Sites has definitely improved over time. It used to be really kind of clunky and awkward.
Yeah.
And it's definitely still kind of clunky and awkward, but it's you can create a website. It's not going to be as fancy. It's not going to have as many snazzy things going on, but you can, students can bust out a very quick website to share with others. We use them a lot at our school for if we have to get parent information out into a website. Yeah. You can do it in Google really quick.
For sure.
Weebly works similar to Wix. I know some teachers definitely prefer Weebly over Wix, but it's got cool templates and very user friendly.
Episode 15.
Boom. And then Wakelet, which I love to talk about.
Episode 19.
Wakelet is amazing, but a tip for Wakelet, because we talk about Wakelet being, there's so many uses for it. You can, use it like a website. It houses information. It makes these collections and stuff. But I was talking to other teachers, you can use Wakelet for sub-plans. Like if you set up a Wake and you have your theme and you put your schedule in for the day, you can drop in any Google Docs you want, any links for kids, any videos you want to share, and it's all there, and it's in a public site. So you just email that to your sub or drop it into we use a program. It's called Frontline, and you could connect to your sub that way, but you just drop the link in, and then they have all your sub plans, and you don't have to have anything open on your own computer. You don't have to have links, everything's just there, and it would be public.
Sure.
Which you could do a Google Doc that way, but I feel like if you're going to use videos and a lot of interactive content, that a Wakelet would be very useful as subplans. So anyway, boom. First 9 tips and tricks. Next topic, infographics and drawing. I kind of lumped infographics and art and things as you were putting all the episodes in a sweet talk. So the first one, I love a good infographic. So Easily, infographic amazingness. Pictochart, infographic amazingness. Infogram, which is great for infographics that have more data and charts in them for infogram. So that's tool 12. Canva, which I put under infographics, but you can, and it's under art, because you can make brochures and Instagram posts and digital posters and invitations and parent letters and
other graphics as you see fit for your classroom.
Right. So Canva covers it all.
Episode 36. Easily, episode 7. Pictochart, episode 16. Infogram, episode 7. Genially.
I haven't talked about Genially yet.
Geely.
Oh, yeah. We're going to bring that one back.
We should, because that would happen on episode
2.
Whoa.
Was it really that long ago?
Yeah, more than a year ago.
Genially. We used it a lot in my classroom. That one you can create infographics and you can create all kinds of cool things, but they have like interactive images where you can take a picture and then make it interactive. You can build like interactive board games or choose your own adventure in Genially. There's a lot of cool things you can do with it. Draw.io, kids can create timelines. They can create, like they can graph out like family trees. I've had them use it for family trees, for timelines, for anything where you need to even web out like essays and stuff, because you can make a web.
A mind map.
Yeah, like any of that type of stuff.
You can do brainstorming, stuff like that.
Yep, absolutely. And Draw.io is
organize whatever ideas you want to.
Flexible, and it saves to your Google Drive. So it's very, very user-friendly. Autodesk Inventor, we love drawing in Autodesk. It's such a cool CAD software, and it's free. So it's a great way to expose stuff, those types of skills to kids. And your school doesn't have to pay for it, which is nice. Adobe Spark.
Yep, cool design tool.
Yep, you can be super creative with it. It's like using Photoshop without having to spend all the money for Photoshop.
Right. And you can share them in Google Classroom.
Yes, they drop right into Google Classroom, which is awesome.
So that gets us through infographics and drawing. So again, easily Pictochart, Infogram, Canva, Genially, Draw.io, Autodesk Inventor, and Adobe Spark.
That gets us through 17.
Yeah.
Boom. 17 tips. Next.
We're almost halfway there, kids.
Woo. So the next one, it's Googly. It's Google Keep. So this is like
episode
1.
Yeah.
Did I really talk about episode 1?
Yep.
So Google Keep is obviously it's your little light bulb that is in your Gmail.
In your waffle.
Actually, you can pull it right out of your email. It's on the right-hand side of your screen now. They've moved it. You can pull it in your waffle, or there's just a little tab wherever you are in your Google. So in your Gmail.
But it'll always be in the waffle in my heart.
Aw. Nice. But these next 4 tips actually all go with Google Keep. So using Google Keep for things like book clubs.
Yes.
So like when I have a group, when my kids all have book discussions in class, they keep their notes in a keep. So one kid is the keeper of the keep, and they then add collaborators so that way everybody in the group gets their notes from their discussion. And then they have access to it when they work on their final project. Another tip for Keep is group projects, because kids can keep notes, they can keep bulleted lists. If they're doing shared research, they can do keeps, several of them, and then just share other people within their group on their work, which is nice. And it's like short bits of information, so I think that's helpful so it doesn't get totally overwhelming. And then you can take the information from the keep and drop it into a doc later on, which is super nice. Our staff uses it sometimes for staff planning and notifications. So if we have a meeting coming up, like a staff meeting coming up, and there's certain things we need to talk about, like parent-teacher conferences and like organizing a field trip, like one of the teachers will put it in the keep, share the rest of us on it, so we know it's coming up. And then in our meeting, we have the notes for the meeting, so we kind of know what's going on, which is nice reminders. I also have received like pictures of Chuck Norris before, because apparently sometimes you need to share that in other people's keeps as well. Something else that other people use that I know within our staff is they use Google Keep as a grocery list, because you can open up Keep on your phone and just keep your running grocery list in your Google Keep, because then it's always there and it's super handy and you can pull it up on your phone. So, boom. 4 tips for Google Keep puts us up to 21 tech tools.
Nice.
As you're numbering away. And putting in your own notes.
I'm putting in some notes.
So
I'm not putting them in our Google Keep, though.
No, you're putting them into the doc that we're working from. I'm not using Post-its today.
You're not, I know.
Episode 50.
It's throwing me off. Usually our counter is loaded with Post-its. There's one that's on your computer always.
That's my constant to-do list. That's my screaming to-do list versus my Keep or my Google Task list. Yep. So, next, tip 22. Our next theme session is quizzing and presentations.
Mm-hmm.
First one, Pear Deck. I don't know anyone who doesn't love Pear Deck that uses Pear Deck. Anyway, you can make your presentations interactive, and kids can use it. And there's cool like vocab things now. They have so many cool tools that they've added to Pear Deck. It's pretty snazzy. So Pear Deck, Quizlet Live.
Pear Deck, if you want to listen to that episode, it's episode 11.
We were just actually talking about Quizlet Live this evening.
Yes, we were, because we saw a TikTok video with a...
with the music.
And that was, it had the music.
It's the Quizlet Live music.
There is a middle school teacher who's hilarious on TikTok. And
yes, you watch TikTok.
I do watch TikTok because I want to keep in touch with my 15-year-old daughter. Mm-hmm. And it's worth watching. But anyway,
there's a teacher.
She had a TikTok video about Quizlet
Live music.
And it was really specifically about the music. Her name is ms.ferri110 is the TikTok teacher.
Nice.
Miss Ferry, Ferri.
Nice. Well, I'm thinking, because you have that about Quizlet Live, but I don't even have it on the list, but I'm going to throw it in there, is the Kahoot music. Remember, we talked about that.
Oh,
Kahoot, you can get 4 hours of the Kahoot music on repeat on YouTube.
Right.
Yeah.
But episode 12 is Quizlet Live.
There you go. And eMaze has super snazzy presentations. Those are the ones that you can drop all your information into the slides. And it feels like you're walking through a museum or soaring through a city or an ocean. So those are cool interactive slides that are fun.
Episodes 2 and 9.
Yep. 25, Google Slides. I've used Google Slides for not just presentations, but you can use them for stop motion films, which I know a lot of teachers use. But also, I feel like it's forgotten, or maybe people don't use it as often. You can use Google Slides with Google Forms now.
Oh.
So if you're using Google Forms, you can drop a slide. Like if you want a slide deck into Google Forms, you can like actually teach content. So you can put in like pictures or like a choose your own adventure.
Oh, really?
Link into a form. The kids can go through the deck and then they can answer the questions about it in the form.
Wow,
which is pretty cool. So
we use like Google Slides at the agency. We use Google Slides now. We do all of our estimates on Google Slides. We used to use like Keynote. Well, actually, we started with Microsoft Word, and then we moved to Google Docs, and then we started doing a Keynote. But now we found that we can create slides on a Google Slide template a lot faster, and people tend to use less copy, fewer words on the page.
Cool.
So they get done faster, and it's all collaborative. We can add notes and all that stuff. It's really cool.
Nice.
So, So we have a bunch of different episodes that talked about things that integrate with Google Slides.
Yeah, like Slides Carnival.
Yep, episode 23.
Pear Deck, Slide Smash. You can, all of those interact with Google Slides.
Yep.
To jazz them up and make them more interactive.
Mm-hmm.
And we found polka dots. I used it, by the way. I don't know if we ever mentioned that, but I did remember when I was searching, I found the polka dot slides, and I used it for my last presentation for our district. So that was cool.
So that's the first half of our...
Yeah, that's 25 already. I want to go on to 26 because it's in the same category.
It is.
Which is GimKit.
If you had, if you pronounce GIF as GIF, this would be GIFKit. GimKit. No? People who pronounce GIF as GIF instead of GIF. Those people are wrong, by the way. But
I actually was watching a webinar yesterday, and they were pronouncing it GIF.
Oh,
yeah, and I was like, I
think they only people who pronounce GIF as GIF only are doing it to annoy
the
others.
GIFers and the GIFers.
Yes, it's only for a reaction.
All right.
And look, I'm giving them one. I apologize.
So GimKit is our next Interactive presentation. Again, very cool. And that one's always changing. They're always running updates and adding new things and taking things away. The freebies, you don't have as many freebies in that one, but there's a lot of flexibility with that, which is pretty cool. Moving on to timelines. I didn't realize I mentioned Genially twice.
Yeah, it's okay. We have other things that we didn't mention before,
That's true.
Like Slides Carnival and Slide Smash.
That's true. So, creating digital timelines. Padlet used to just be like Post-it notes, like lining things up and making columns and stuff.
Yep.
But Padlet has come a long way since episode 1. Did we talk about episode 1?
Yeah.
Is that what that says?
Mm-hmm.
Holy cow. But Padlet has all kinds of different ways of setting up your Padlet now, like templates, and a timeline is one of them. So the students, I was having my kids create a timeline, they're like, Mrs. Martin, they're like, can't we just use Padlet? I'm like, well, we use Padlet a lot. Like, but there's a timeline on this. So anyway, so that is pretty cool to do. Draw.io also.
Something we mentioned earlier.
But also good for creating timelines. And Genial has its own timeline set up as well. So sometimes digging out timeline stuff, having a template in Google Drawing, there's actually a timeline template, which is cool. And so not always just like timelines in history, but I think like story timelines. And anytime you're organizing something in like a chronological order, I feel like just putting in a timeline is easier to see or like view and understand. So there you go. Timelines and whatnot up through 29. Coding. I have 2 new sites in coding. The first one is freecodecamp.org. So I know we do a lot of coding stuff. So this will be in episode 50. So freecodecamp.org teaches you how to go code. You sign in, and then it walks you through. And it's pretty straightforward. Like, it's not flowery. It's definitely meant for older students, I think. But you can pick like JavaScript. You can pick from specific things, HTML, like what you want to learn. And then you click on what do you want to learn? Basic elements. You can start from the beginning. You click on it, and then it tells you literally, like, type here, this is what shows up. Type here, this is what shows up. And it walks you through the basic steps of coding. Again, does not have all the frills and all the colors and the cartoons that, like, some of them do, but this would be a really great way to start some students who maybe don't need all the frills. And some of my kids, it's interesting. We've talked to them a lot, and they don't like block coding so much. They'd rather type and see what they're doing versus dragging the blocks all the time as they get older, which is good to know. So that's another option. And then the other coding site I have for you is Learn Grasshopper app.
Learn.grasshopper.app.
Correct. But you can pull it up online, and you are able to get started, and it'll walk you through the fundamentals. And this is another one where you type your code. This is what shows up for your solution. This is what you put in here. This is what your solution is. So it's really cool. Again, straightforward. It's a little more simple. It's a little simpler, I think, than Free Code Camp, but definitely both great for typing and coding and not using block coding with kids. So check those out. Let's see. Next up is Tour Builder, which I talked about in episode 4. Tour Builder, there's so many options for Tour Builder, so I thought that would go into my tips and tricks. If you're not using Google Tour Builder, you can basically use this site in any content you could possibly want to try it out in.
Sure.
You can map out things, you can math things, you can do all kinds of stuff. So ways that we have used Tour Builder at our school, we had students go through and like plan and budget an entire vacation. So here's your budget, here's your spreadsheet, do all the mathing, figure out how you're going to spend it, where you're going to go. And then we had them put in Tour Builder, their actual vacation. Like, we're going to travel point A, point B. This is our hotel. We're locking it in, description, cost, all that kind of stuff. So tracking a whole vacation in Tour Builder, touring national parks and setting up tour builders through those. College and career tours, where they physically actually drop pins into the buildings that they would visit if they want to go into certain colleges and like what it would be like to drive there and how do you get around campus and all that kind of stuff. And then world tours, so traveling around the world to learn about different places and geography and things like that. So tour builder, more than just a mapping tool, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
So that's 35. Tour builder when we gave 4 pieces of tour builder.
Yeah, 4 tips in tour builder. So we're up to 35.
Tour builder itself was on episode 4.
La-ti-da.
So that works out nicely.
Cool. So the next section is staff picks, for staff and student picks from my school. So I was in a staff meeting saying, like, all right, guys, I'm like, it's episode 50. What's everyone's favorite?
Yep.
So favorites are, you can say it. Go ahead.
Trello.
Yeah.
My favorite.
Your favorite, and several of the other teachers love Trello. That's
episode 13.
Episode 13. Classroom screen, still one of my go-tos. I don't have a window in my classroom.
Yep.
I can't say enough about how awesome it is. And the part, I feel like everyone loves the screen and everyone loves the timers and stuff, but don't forget, there's that tool at the end that you can click on and see if students are understanding your work. Like you can pose a question at the end of class and they can click yes or no, I understand it. That's really important to me. My students were like, nitro type, and I was like, I don't even let you guys do nitro type. They're like, we do it at home because we love to do it so much. So nitro type, still
episode
a big hit.
29.
Yep. A new site that I was unaware of is called ncviewer.com. And what it does is you're able to drop in the code that you have done for machining platforms, so like our mill and stuff at our school, and you can drop in your code to see if it's going to actually, what you've written actually will transfer into various different like CNC and different machining platforms. So that is ncviewer.com is a big hit with a few of our teachers.
Okay.
One of our math teachers was very sparkly about Desmos, which we have talked about in episode 38, which is great for graphing. Slides Carnival.
Yeah, we kind of mentioned it up earlier in the presentations portion, but also staff pick.
Also staff pick, yeah. Like, I use Slides Carnival all the time to jazz up my slides. Like, all right, cool.
Grab some slides templates, and
yeah,
you can listen more on episode 23.
Yep. iExcel is a math site. I think a lot of schools use iExcel. It's for extra math practice.
Okay.
And that one.
iExcel, I get it now.
Yeah.
I exceed iExcel. Oh.
And they have math curriculum K-12. So
math people are funny.
Math people are funny. So there's that one.
I wonder if math people actually call it.
They call it iExcel.
I wonder if they actually call it
9. And then what's
39?
The yeah.
No, I wonder if they call it 39.
I don't think so. They call it iExcel.
Because it's iExcel. I think that would be the. So L is 50, right? Yeah, L is 50, and then
10.
X is 10, and 1 is 1, I is 1. So that would be 50 minus 11, which would be 39. I bet you they call it 39.
I think that they call it iExcel. Okay.
I'm sure they call it iExcel, but it was funny to me. Dad joke. Carry on.
Yep.
Smart Notebook Express. Algebra tiles.
So that one is Smart Notebook. A lot of people have smart boards in their classroom. Yep. You always have your Smart Notebook stuff, but having you're able to access the Express version from anywhere.
Sure.
So that is used a lot of times, like on the go or switching between classrooms and stuff, by our math teachers like it. The next one is
number 44,
VozMe, which is a super quick site, and it's easy. All you do is if you type in what you want in English, and then you switch it to Spanish, and then it creates an MP3 and switches out your English to Spanish if you're translating things, which is nice. And
that's cool.
Straightforward and very easy to use. 45 is Show Me Interactive Whiteboard. It's an app, which is another favorite of the teachers, where you are able to, it's free, and you download the app, and then you're able to have an interactive whiteboard and video and talk and draw at the same time.
Cool.
Yeah.
Show Me Interactive Whiteboard.
Boom.
Next
and
up,
5 left.
Reading.
We have 5 left. Reading, Storyline Online, a favorite of many.
Yes.
My students really like it, actually, because it doesn't matter that they're 13 years old. Like, they still like to have stories read to them. And I think it's pretty cool that, like, celebrities are reading them and stuff. But
Hello, I'm Justin Timberlake. That's not how he talks, but it'd be funny if he had an accent.
But we had
hello, love.
I did the rainbow fish the other day, and they're like, "Oh, is that like the stripes one too?" Because I was like scrolling through, like, I want to hear that one too. I'm like, all right, we'll save it for next week, or you guys can go on the site and.
I want Flavor Flav to do Pout Pout Fish.
Okay, well, you write in the suggestion.
Petition.
You should. So, Storyline Eyeline, again, love it. Storytime in Space.
So cool.
That one is definitely a hit still in our house. And actually, every kid I've showed it to loves it because they're like, oh, are they really in space or is that fake? I'm like, no, it's real. They're like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Epic Reads, it's a digital library. So, again, you've got a huge group of, that's real. You have a large variety of books that you can read for kids that are 12 and under. As a teacher, you can sign up, or have students sign up. It's great to use over the summer. I feel like that's when we suggested it last time. It was for summer reading.
Yep.
Which is pretty cool. And are we ready? I feel like a drum roll.
Drum roll,
I'll
please.
tell you. Okay, so put a drum roll in here.
I'm not going to do that, but okay.
I'm going to switch the order of these two.
All right.
49 is...
EduBlogs.
EduBlogs. Such a great site for students to be able to blog and share all their thoughts and still have some control as a teacher.
Yep.
But I've seen a lot of kids use it and open up, and there's contests, and there's just so many cool opportunities with EduBlogs. So
Agreed. Get
your kids writing using EduBlogs. And the last listener pick for the first 50 episodes.
Our most listened to episode ever.
Yeah, by a lot.
Is...
Floor planner.
Floor planner. Beep, beep, beep.
Everyone loves to design houses and garages and restaurants, and
I used it at one point
to is the biggest hit
to try to remodel one of our offices, and then we moved.
Yeah, you did. It's in episode 3, but it's been mentioned quite a few times, and we have like twice as many hits on that podcast as any other,
I don't know.
Twice as many. We've had double the amount.
Don't know what's made it so popular, but thanks for listening.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So
we're gonna drop the word floor planner into every single podcast.
Floor planner. Everybody use floor planner. So hopefully,
it used to be room styler, right?
Yeah, that was like the first version of it, kind of. Yeah. So hopefully, out of all 50 tech tools and tips.
Yep.
Some of it was review, so maybe it was good to bring back a few episodes, or now you can dig back some of the episodes like, oh, hey, I heard that. Mm-hmm. And then, yeah, I should go back and use that. I feel like I do that a lot.
Yep.
Or maybe something that you haven't heard before, or you found something cool and
new
fun
to you,
and
something
new.
Maybe, yeah.
So happy 50th episode.
Happy 50th to you.
And we have a few more coming up in the future.
All right, perfect.
Well, thanks for tuning in. This has been the Tech Tools for Teachers podcast. If you ever have any questions, you can find me on Twitter @SmartNWI. And if you want to get more information on the links to the technology discussed in this episode, you can visit smartnwi.com or join me on Facebook and take fun little polls during the week. New episodes each week. Thanks for listening. Go educate and innovate.
The ideas and opinions expressed on this podcast and the Smart NWI website are those of the author Shannon Martin and not of her employer. Prior to using any of the technologies that we've discussed in this podcast, and there were 50 plus of them today, please consult with your employer regulations. This podcast offers no guarantee that these tools will work for you as described, but we hope they do, and we will talk to you again on episode 51. Thanks for listening. Talk to you soon.